Welcome back to ICP Strategy. Tim here to break it all down for you. Smash the like, sub to the channel, comment down below. Keep in mind that this video isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Make sure you do your own research, make your own decisions with what you want to do with your money. Let's talk about ICP in particular as it pertains to the value of the US dollar. And one analogy I was thinking about is like, if the US dollar is like the Titanic and Bitcoin is the lifeboat, I would say ICP is more like jumping on a speedboat. Now, which would you rather get on? A lifeboat is a lot better than falling into freezing water that you're gonna go into hypothermia within 20 minutes of trying to swim in. So that's not going to work for you. So lifeboat is a lot better than that, but then all you're doing is floating out there in the middle of the ocean in pitch black. I'd rather jump on the speedboat and go wherever I want, and it's a lot faster moving. It's a lot higher technology, just more options, more control. And that's kind of how I look at ICP. And Bitcoin might be better than most stocks out there based on the fact that, you know, a stock portfolio can go up and keep pace with inflation, maybe even outpace inflation slightly, depending on what you believe as far as the CPI numbers and the money supply, how fast it's going up. But I think, Bitcoin has a limited supply. I don't really know if it works as far as being the next money, because the fact that the supply is so limited, I mean, you kind of need inflation to be able to use a currency, because otherwise you just run out of the currency, and then, yeah, you can divide it into smaller and smaller portions, but how are you supposed to pay people to work a job when the you know what I'm saying, like if you paid someone in Bitcoin, you'd have to pay them less every year, and no one's going to accept a pay degrade just because, you know, the value of Bitcoin is going up. So if the value of Bitcoin goes from 60,000 and you're getting paid, you know, 1 Bitcoin per year, but then Bitcoin goes up to $1 million a year compared to US dollars, or in terms of its purchasing power, whichever way you want to look at it, and then someone's like, you know, your boss is like, sorry, we're actually going to lower your pay down to match the current price of Bitcoin. So I don't know how that really makes sense anyway. I think it's great for a store of value because you can't print more Bitcoin the way you can US dollars. But anyways, I mean, it's kind of like buying land compared to buying a thriving money-making business on top of the land. Now and Michael Saylor has made this analogy too, comparing Bitcoin to Manhattan real estate, and saying what you want to buy is the land and hold that, because businesses can come and go. Businesses can go bankrupt, leave, make mistakes, lose money, whatever, but that land is always going to have value. But if you have the greatest business of all time built on that land, wouldn't you rather own that business over just the land that, yeah, if you hold it for 100 years, it's going to continue to have value? Also, if you look at the price of real estate in relation to something that does have a stable value as far as the value that it can provide comparable to what its purchasing power was, if it was used as money, which is gold, the real estate actually goes down in terms of gold, because you can always make more real estate, and houses that were constructed 50, 60, 70 years ago are worth less in real terms because they've degraded, they've depreciated over time. So even though the cost is more, that's just a reflection on the currency failing. So what's my point? My point is that you need something that, you know, if you want to save your money, save it in something that is scarce and desirable, you know, and there's options far beyond, you know, the dollar, you know. And I think that ICP is, it's just an amazing technology. They've done incredible things with it. We all know this. And it is a scarce asset. The inflation rate, I don't think is, I mean, you could say, you know, you're getting 8% or 7%, but not all the ICP is staked. So you can't just say that, you know, the inflation rate is that high. The inflation rate of ICP is probably less than Bitcoin. I don't know exactly what it is right now. But that's not even a downgrade from something like Bitcoin. But the benefit, of course, is the adoption, the usage, the transactions, the fact that you can use it as fuel for Web3 and build entire business models on chain that are fully secure, including AI. I mean, there's other influencers that go into like much greater detail over the benefits of ICP. But point is that it is one of the things that is far and away a better investment than most of the traditional investments that we're looking at today. Because like I said, stocks barely keep pace with inflation. Housing barely keeps pace with inflation. Gold basically keeps pace with inflation. Probably maybe even does a little bit better than some of those other assets at times. But Bitcoin and ICP specifically, maybe some other cryptos, maybe ETH will continue to be, you know, a protocol that has limited supply. And it's okay to have a diversified portfolio. It's okay to have some hard assets. It's okay to have a house. Not everything has to be in one thing. You don't have to have a favorite asset. Or even if you do, you don't have to just only own that. But yeah, so you want to be on the fastest boat. Right now, that the speedboat or the super yacht is ICP. You can get it at a ridiculous discount right now if you want, if you think that that's a good idea for you and your portfolio. You can consider that, do your own research. Don't take my advice. That's it for today.